So before we even start today's episode, I've got to jump on here and tell you that I'm super duper pumped because I get to collaborate with the awesome Steven Scott. We're doing HOP and Operational Learning in Las Vegas on October 8th and 9th. If it sounds like something that you'd be interested in, head over to thehopnerd.com/event and check it out. There are limited seats. And if you want to just go ahead and register, send an email to steve@hopimprovement.com. 2 days, workshop Las Vegas. It's going to be awesome. Don't miss out. I'll see you there. Hello and welcome to the HOP Nerd Sideshow, your behind-the-scenes guide to everything happening with the HOP Nerd Podcast, the HOP Nerd LLC, everything happening in my world and all of this HOP Nerd stuff. If you're looking for that, you are in the right place. Do me a favor, head over to the website www.thehopnerd.com to learn more. Make sure that you follow along on all things social media. You know those things. The platform formerly known as Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook. I think I've got one of those. Definitely YouTube. Anywhere that you can follow people, make sure that you're following along. Welcome to today's episode. Welcome everybody to another episode of the HOP Nerd Sideshow. You know what you're in for with the Sideshow. I do these things randomly when I get a chance to and when I feel like I want to do them. That's really it. I am your host, Sam Goodman of the HOP Nerd LLC. And as you know, the main show, if you didn't find this podcast through the HOP Nerd podcast, I would be really surprised, but here we are, and I'm happy. I am pumped. I'm pumped to be here. I am zenned up, and I am cold brewed up. There we go. Hold on, cold brew. A little cold brew. We'll get to that in just a second. But I'm ready. Like I said, I've got my Zen. I've got my cold brew. I've got you, and I'm so thankful that you are here. I've got to say, though, I've been struggling with Zen lately. Most of you know this, that for years, I was a smokeless tobacco person. I know, boo, yuck, tobacco, evil, bad. And it is. It's definitely, I think the way that I always justify that in my brain is that there are far worse addictions. At least that's the way I looked at it. I've got my coffee, and I have got my nicotine, and I'm pretty good. You throw me a steak once or twice a week, and I'm pretty happy. That makes Sam a pretty happy boy. I don't need much more than that. But, doing that for years and years and years. And every time that I would quit, I don't want to blame it on my environment too much, I guess, because I know just try harder, just do it less. Everywhere that I worked, that's super common, like way common. Like you couldn't walk into a room without at least 50%. At least 50% of the room using some type of smokeless tobacco. I would walk into meetings with like high-level executives, and when I would walk in their office, here, are you ready for some unsafety? I know we're not supposed to talk about safety, but unsafety. My safety friends are going to go, oh my God, you should have coached them. No, thank you. But you'd walk into a room with a very high level executives, and they'd be sitting there with like a Diet Coke can, like in a pocket knife, like cutting the top out of their Diet Coke can and stuffing it, with some paper towels to make a nice little spittoon, a little spitter. All my dipping friends out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But I did that for a long time, and then I switched over to Zen. Like I just wanted to quit. Like I was just like, there's a few reasons. Let's be completely transparent. It was getting freaking expensive. Smokeless tobacco used to be like $1. Right. And then it was like $2, and then it was like $3, and then here in Arizona it's like $6. I was a Skull Wintergreen fine cut person for all my dipping friends out there, and it just got expensive. It just got way expensive. And then when you're working, you're dipping even more, like constantly, and so you're eating this stuff like candy, and you're going through it. And then on top of that, I'm going, it's expensive and it's terrible for me. Like I know, like the risk of smokeless tobacco is nowhere near. Like, you can look it up. It is nowhere near the risk of smoking, but there's still a risk. And I'm like, I don't want to cause myself some serious problems with this. How do I change this? I like nicotine. And I went down this rabbit hole of like delivery mechanisms of nicotine, because nicotine's not all that bad for you. It's the delivery mechanism, right? And so I landed on Zen, and I've been using my Zens for the past couple years. And I try to use them sparingly, but they are kind of handy. But where I was going with this rant, giving you my history on tobacco use here, I guess. Kids, don't do tobacco. That's number one. If you don't really like nicotine, don't just pick up Zen or anything else. It's not a great habit to have. I would much rather maybe not do it. But I was buying them online, and then apparently there was a big, hullabaloo that kind of happened there, and some lawsuits and different things like that. And I've struggled to buy Zen online. And then apparently there's a whole bunch of like counterfeit Zen stuff going on because they had some production issues and on and on. And I've tried all the other ones. I've tried like Rogue and this and that and the other. And Zen is kind of the one I like. Zen Wintergreen, 6 milligram. Like that's my jam. But I've been having to go around to all these like little like smoke shops in Phoenix to find Zens, because I travel a bunch, as many of you do. You know how this goes. If I can order it, I'll order it. I don't have the time to go try to find it somewhere. So I would order it, and I would order it in like a few months supply. So I'd only order it like a couple times a year. And then all of a sudden I can't order it from Zen online anymore. So I'm struggling here is what I'm saying. If anybody out there has a good hookup on where to get Zen, or if you have any information, Zen friends, if anybody out there works, which is a good possibility. If you work for this company, let me know. Like, I won't tell anybody. Just let me know when the online ordering's coming back. Jeez, it's driving me crazy. Like, it's killing me, because as soon as I get in from the airport, I'm like, I ran out. I need to stop by the vape store. Oh crap, it's midnight. I don't think they're open. Maybe they are. Let's be real. Like the vape stores, the smoke shops, they're really like head shops, right? So like they're usually open late night hours. You can usually get in there and find your nicotine fix. And I think more the nicotine, if that's what you're in the market for. But yeah, with all that out of the way, welcome. A little bit of an update on everything that we've got going on with the HOP Nerd LLC. We put out our HOP Basics online on demand training, which is cool. It's mostly video based of me talking, and it's got presentations, and it's got reflection questions, and it's a cool little course. I've got some really great feedback from folks out there. It's got a lot of downloads, and then obviously 10 Ideas to Make Safety Suck Less, and the other books as well. You can pick those up most places that you find books. Amazon is about your easiest way, but we put a lot of work into that online course, and a part of that online course is if you buy the online course, only get it if you're in the market for basics, because it is just like introduction to HOP, introduction to learning teams, basic ideas, beliefs, assumptions, those kind of things. It is a great tool, though, if you are wanting to start that in more of on-demand e-learning type something within your organization. It's really, really reasonably priced. So if you're wanting to get your employees through like the intro to HOP, and then call somebody like me or somebody else that does the kind of things that I do to come in and then run like the full workshops, the full HOP fundamental stuff, it's a great way to build into that. So it's there. And again, reasonably priced. And where I was going with that is we threw in a downloadable copy of 10 Ideas to Make Safety Suck Less. So if you get the course, you might not get the nice, like, hardcover or paperback copy of the book like what you get on Amazon, but you do get the book. So, and many other downloads there with like key ideas and just useful stuff. So again, that's something we've been working on here for a minute. We're tinkering away. I'm tinkering away with a bit of help from some friends on the Starting Points app. So we launched like an initial web-based app, and it's cool. It's okay. Go check it out. You should. There's a free like starter deck and all that stuff over there. We're looking for a place to like house these cards like as we make them, because we're sitting on several decks that we haven't published yet that I'm going to work on. So for Sideshow listeners, here's your behind the scenes information. Several decks that haven't been published to physical card decks yet, but they're coming. They're coming real soon. Expansion packs and different things like that. And you know that we launched our funky meeting starters, which were it's a funsy, right? It's a funsy, but it's not just a funsy because they're really focused on being interactive and creating not only a bit of fun, but helping us to extend a bit of trust, to help us to grow a bit of that, like, I trust you, you trust me environment right at the beginning of a meeting. They are fun, but they help us there as well. So you can check those out, startingpointcards.com, starting point, not points, startingpointcards.com. But all that's to really tell you that we're tinkering with an app that you download from the app stores. That's a nightmare. It's been, to be real, like I don't know anything about apps. I'm not the app dude. That's just not who I am. So I've been working with some folks on that, and I think it's going to be cool. The web-based app is going to be there, but we're going to have the downloadable version, and we're figuring it out. We're trying to make something useful to where you can get those starting point cards in your organization's hands, throughout your organization's hands, at scale, pretty easy, without having to just order like 1,000 card decks, to order a pallet of card decks. And if you want to do that too, those are there as well. I know that a lot of the leaders I spend time with, like, we love these little freaking cards. They're just handy. And so it's probably a mixture of those things, right? But having that app to where as we update cards, as we add new card decks, as we come up with customized cards and different focused card decks, and like the funky meeting starters and just different things, you'll be able to go in that app and just pick the deck and then hit a shuffle button and pull one up or pick one that you want. And it's pretty cool. So I've been spending a lot of my waking hours working on stuff like that and recording videos. I finally got a bit of time blocked off on my calendar to start making some videos and cool stuff like that. So I struggle with this stupid we thing. Jesus. I have been working on that. I carved out that time and coming up with some videos and trying to get those videos out there. So make sure we're posting them to LinkedIn as much as we can across all those little different channels there. I'm trying my best to post some of the short snippets and different things like that here and there and everywhere over on Instagram at the HOP Nerd. And then obviously they're coming out on YouTube too. So if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, that's a great place to find them. And then, as you know, at some point, I will upload them to the website so you can download them, like actually download them and then use them, like use them in your presentations, use them wherever you want to use them. There you go. Re-upload them to LinkedIn and tell me how dumb I am. I don't know. However you want to use them, they're yours. And I guess the tell me how dumb I am thing doesn't work because I do ask that you put them to good use. Right? So that's all I ask is put them to good use. The rest of what I've got going on is just travel. I just did the Hawkeye on Safety Conference in Iowa, and that was an absolute hoot. It was a hoot. It was a blast. I did the keynote, big room, lots of people. It was fun. It really was. I had a blast. So to Tammy and everyone else out there that's been making that happen, thanks for the invite. I would love to come back. You just let me know, and I am there. I've got the ASSP. AZASSPPDC, that thing, Arizona, American Society of Safety Professionals. I think that's what they're called. Arizona Chapter Professional Development Conference, Health and Safety Summit 2024, I think is what they call it. I think that's what it is. You can Google it. You can see it. It's coming up here pretty soon within a couple of weeks, end of this month. And so if you're in this neck of the woods or you want to be in this neck of the woods, it's starting to cool down a little bit in Phoenix. Not much, but it's getting there. It's a great time. Come out and hang out with a bunch of cool folks. And I think I'll be one of those cool folks. I'm doing the morning keynote. And it'll be great. And if not for anything else, come on out and we'll go grab some lunch or something after, or grab a cup of coffee. That'll be a good time. And then all the private engagements that are coming up this fall, I'm going to be here, there, and a little bit of everywhere this fall. If you're needing a hand, you know how to make that happen. hopnerd@gmail.com. And keep a lookout. Go sign up for the newsletter. The newsletter is easy to sign up for. You go to the hopnerd.com, scroll all the way down to the bottom and just click mailing list. And then you just plug in your email. And there you go. You get the weekly check-in. I send something out every week. And just once a week, unless something really cool is happening, like I'll send out some stuff about HOP and operational learning in Las Vegas, or if we're doing any of these workshops or we have something really cool happen, I'll send it out as a standalone email. But 90% of the time, 95% of the time, you get one email a week from me, and it is the weekly check-in. And it's pretty cool because it tells you what the latest podcast is on the main show. It tells you what the latest podcast here is on the sideshow. It lets you know of any new articles we have on the website. It lets you know of the latest YouTube video usually that's come out. It lets you know if I'm doing something over here, doing something over there. And then there's this little section on there called like, where in the world is Sam? Yeah, it basically changes from state to state to state to country to country to country just about every single week. And I put that on there because a couple of reasons. Number one is that if I'm in your neck of the woods and you want to say hello, howdy, hi, let me know. Just send me an email. Or many of you have my phone number. Text me. Like, that's super easy. And if we get a break in the festivities, whatever festivities I have going on, we'll grab some lunch. At the very least, we'll go grab a nice cold brew coffee. We might grab a nice little bite to eat for dinner, and we'll talk about hop. We'll catch up. It's cool. It's fun. I do that quite a bit. Murray Ritchie was just in Phoenix, just passing through here, and said, "Hey, I'm in Phoenix," and the stars aligned. I was in Phoenix at the same time. I got to go over and hang out with him. How cool is that? I love that stuff. And that's why I put that out there. Reason number one. And then number two, if I'm in your neck of the woods and you're needing some help, you're needing a workshop or some hop fundamentals stuff, or you want some learning team facilitation, or you just need some general consulting, or any of the stuff that I tend to do, I'm already there. Yeah, and I'm more than happy to move a flight around, bend things a little bit to make it work, if we can make it work. And it saves everybody a little bit of travel time and a little bit of travel money. So there you go. Sign up for the mailing list, thehopnerd.com, scroll to the bottom, click mailing list, throw in your email, and wham, bam, we are rocking and rolling. So with that little catch up out of the way, hey, mustard something ketchup. There's a joke there, right? What is it? Hey, mustard ketchup. Is that the dad joke that I tell Avery all the time? But with that catch up out of the way, let's jump right into our cold brew review. Here we are, another cold brew review. I mentioned this over on the main pod that, I've been avoiding the coffee shop for a couple reasons. First, I just haven't had the time lately. I've been stinking busy, y'all. And even when I'm home, there's so much going on. I talked to you about the app and the web app, and then now the main app, like the one in the marketplace that's going to be there. I talked to you about, the videos and the resources that we're creating. I talked to you, about what else is there? Designing more card decks that we've been working on. Oh, and Hop and Operational Learning in Las Vegas, all the prep and all that stuff that happens with those type of workshops. And there was something else. Oh, the online learning course, Hop Basics, Learning Team Basics. It's good work, and it's good work that we're doing for the right reasons. It's great stuff. It's great and useful work that many of you are finding valuable, but it's work. Right? So when I am home, I travel a bunch. You know this. You see that. I told you, where in the world is Sam? But when I am home, my schedule gets really compressed. I'll have to lock myself in my little office here at the house and just work on stuff, and just work on stuff. I'm an early riser, and I'm a late to bedder. Yeah, is that? I'm early to rise, late to go to sleep. And that's some of just a me thing, but a lot of that's a work thing too, because I come in here and I lock myself in this little office. I've been trying to get out, and I've got a bicycle. I bought one of those fat tire bikes. I think I told you that, but I go out and I try to ride my bike, or I go out and walk on the treadmill. I go spend a little bit of time doing something, usually early in the morning, but I get up at the ass crack of dawn, 0 dark 30 a lot of times. And then once I get a little bit of that out of the way, find my coffee, find my Zen, I sit down in here, and then I catch myself. It's like 6 p.m., right? And so they're like, holy crap. And then me and Jarrell usually go to the gym. Again, we're working on being less fat here, trying my best. I'm, 5 years into trying to lose the pandemic 50, but we're getting there. We're slowly chipping away on it. So I lock myself in here, and I'm busy. I'm freaking busy because there's so much cool stuff that we're trying to create, so much cool work that we're trying to do, useful things that we're trying to create for you, for this community, for the organizations that we work with, for so many folks. It's me. And again, I suck at that. It's me. And so the very last thing that I have time for most mornings right now is getting up and going and getting coffee. I just don't have time. It's a quick drive. I do it maybe a couple days a week, maybe. I've told you that me and Avery have our little coffee ritual where we leave super early because she likes to leave super early for school. When I'm home, I'm very protective of my dad time, so I like drop-offs and pickups and all those things in between that I can, anything that I can do, I absolutely do. So we leave super early. We might grab a cup of coffee, sit. She likes listening to this cool podcast called Greeking Out, which is about Greek mythology and mythology in general, but it's by Nat Geo Kids, and she loves it. So we sit around, we drink our Dutch Bros drink, that's usually her go-to, and listen to the podcast for 20, 30 minutes. And then, the place is right next to her school. I drop her off, I come back, and then I lock myself in the office. But a lot of days, I'm not going out and doing that, other than those very specific special days that I'm spending time with Avery. So I've been really heavily relying on pre-made cold brews. I've told you about Wandering Bear. I really, really like them. I really do. The only thing that I noticed, I ordered in bulk last time, and I probably shouldn't have done that. as I noticed towards the tail end of some of those boxes of cold brew, because it looks like a box of wine. Like imagine a box of wine. It's that, but it's cold brew. And you get them in varying shapes and sizes. And I buy the big ones because I drink it, Jarrell drinks it, we drink it. Right, and I buy a few different flavors. They have like a dirty chai. They have, my favorite is their coconut cold brew. I think that is my favorite. And then I bought several big boxes of just their straight up regular black cold brew. And towards the end of that, I did notice that it did get, it wasn't bad, but maybe funk is too strong of a word, but it wasn't as great as when I first opened it. I know that there's this thing. I was like, oh, it stays fresher in the bottle, but I think I kept them too long because I think I ordered too much. My thought was I order a bunch and then I don't have to order it again for a long time. But I think I probably need to order it with maybe less amount, more frequency, something along those lines. They do like a subscription thing, and they don't sponsor us here. Hey, Wondering Bear, if you're looking to sponsor some folks, here you go. Like, let's talk about you a bunch. Jesus. But I don't do subscriptions. I try my best. Those things are, to me, are like the spawn of Satan because I subscribe to stuff. And then 3 years from now, I'm like, why the heck am I still subscribed to this? I haven't got a box of cold brew in like 3 years. They're still charged. Those stupid things. Like I have like some very basic subscriptions to things that I use like a bunch. I subscribe to my local car wash so I can just drive through. Right? You guys know those. Those are fancy pants. You just pull in, they read your plate and you go. I don't have to, I'd save a ton of cash. You have to wash your car here like every other day in Arizona because as soon as you wash it, it'd be the one day that it rains. We know that curse. But here in Arizona, as soon as you wash it, it's just dirt, right? It's like, oh, dust storm, random dust. So yeah, you've got to do that a bunch. So I definitely, I get my money back on that one. But I've avoided ordering that. So I hadn't ordered any Wondering Bear. So I ran out, got to the tail end of that box. And that's a little funky. It was okay, but it was a little funky. And so the last time we were in the grocery store, I picked up an old, an old trusty. I hadn't had it in a while, but I got a couple of those little jugs of the Starbucks Cold Brew Concentrate. And we also bought some of the, whatever the Fry's Kroger brand is of theirs, which is like the copycat of that, which those are always known to be sometimes way better than the OG one. I haven't cracked that one open yet. And then Jarrell bought another jug of like pre-made non-concentrate cold brew, which I haven't tried yet. We'll get to that at some point on this episode. But the one I'm talking about today is the Starbucks Cold Brew Concentrate. Now, to start off with, I will tell you that on my first cup, I followed the directions. If you have tastes like I do in cold brew, do not follow the directions. So they call it a concentrate. But I got curious and I took a little swig just straight out of the concentrate. And it tastes kind of like just really strong cold brew. And I wouldn't even say really strong cold brew. Let's just say like a firm cup of cold brew. So the first time that I mixed it, it was really watery. I think it's 50-50. It's like 50% concentrate, 50% H2O. Right. So I got my nice big cup there. I filled it up about halfway. I filled the other up was about halfway, equal parts. And then I topped it off with coffee and water. And then I topped it off with ice. And I was like, oh, it tastes like dirty water. And then so I took a few big gulps and then poured a bunch more of the concentrate on top. And I was like, okay, that tastes a little bit better. And then another big gulp and poured some more concentrate on top. So I'm not saying that Starbucks is lying. I'm not saying that. I mean, if that's your taste, that's your taste. It might be their taste. It's not my taste. And I think it does say somewhere in there is, to get frisky with it, like customize it to your own flavor profile, something along those lines. And I found that if it says that it makes like 5 full glasses of cold brew, it probably makes like 2 or 3 for me. So this one that I'm drinking right now is tuned to my flavor profile. So I'm going to go ahead and have a drink. It is our cold brew review after all. Here we go. And I will tell you that I'm about halfway through this cup. The ice has melted a bit. It's good. It's good. And now the thing that I will tell you is that it doesn't taste the same. It has a bit of a, again, funk is a strong word, but it's got a bit of a taste to it that's not comparable. It's not the same as what you get at Starbucks. I don't know if that's on purpose or if they just can't figure that part of it out. However they make it, and I've seen them make it with their concentrate. They make it with concentrate. I'm pretty sure. Hey, Starbucks people, if any Starbucks people listen, let me know. Let me know the secret here. But I'm pretty sure. Like I've seen it. You do it with the keg thing sometimes, but I've seen them do like a pump, like a kind of like it looks like a cold brew syrup that they'll make and then top. Okay, let me know. Let me know how this is working. Because I'm curious, because this isn't the same, right? It's not the same. It's good, but it's not the same. It's not my old trusty, right? That's my old trusty. It's just straight up Trenta black Starbucks cold brew. That's it. Not nitro, not this, not that. Just the original straight up Starbucks cold brew. Usually Trenta size, right? Yeah. If I'm having my second of the day, I'm not getting Trenta. if I'm getting a sipper, for later on that afternoon, or if I need another pick me up, which I try my best not to, I'll get a much smaller size. But yeah, it's good. I think if I'm going to rate it overall, out of a 10, I'm going to give it like a 7.1, maybe a 6.9. I'm going to go 6.9. 6.9. That is not bad. That's a good, solid cup of cold brew. It's okay. It's an okay cup of cold brew. Will I buy it again? I absolutely will, for sure. If I have the choice between it and the original, am I picking it? Definitely not. If I have a choice between it and Wandering Bear, which I've rated pretty high, especially the coconut cold brew fresh box, I'm picking the Wandering Bear coconut cold brew every stinking day of the week. There are several that I would choose before this, but it's handy. I think that's probably the main intent of it, is that it's handy. You can buy it. It's sealed. You don't have to refrigerate it. You can keep it. There you go. You're good. You've got cold brew with you wherever you need cold brew. So yeah, I think, what did I say? 6.9? A 6.9 I think is solid. It's good. It's handy. It serves its purpose. Is it out of this world? Is it going to replace? Is it going to dethrone my old trusty? Absolutely not. Even though it carries the same brand, even though it's supposedly the same thing, it is not. It is not the same thing. So let me know your cold brew recommendations. If you go over to the hopnerd.com/podcast, you can see there's a little link there for the sideshow. And I'm actually going to look while I'm doing this. I think if you just go to the hopnerd.com, yeah, there you go, the hopnerd.com/sideshow, it'll take you directly to the page on the website for this, where you can listen to the sideshow. It's a cool little page. You can sign up for the mailing list right there too. I keep forgetting that there is a box there to sign up for the mailing list. But what I really want to tell you about is you can be on the show anytime, anywhere. You just click, you go down right below the little podcast player and you click start recording, and you can send me a voice message. Now we've got to keep it not internet creepy, because we know the internet gets kind of weird. All of a sudden I start getting messages that asking about my feet. It is the internet after all. That's not making it on the podcast. Just letting you know, that's not going to happen. But if you want to let me know, like, send me your very own cold brew review, send me your top 5, send me your few, leave me that message. Say, hey, here's what I like. You should try this cold brew. I really enjoy it. Send me recommendations for your local coffee shop. So when I'm in your neck of the woods, I will swing by and pick up a cup. And so there you go. There is our cold brew review. Well, there you go. What else we got today? I know we've got What's on the Shelf coming up here in just a second, where we discuss basically the Etsy shop that lives behind me. I was having that conversation with the punk rock safety crew. That bunch of folks over there was on that pod. If you haven't listened to that, go check that out. I don't know if I've mentioned that yet on the sideshow, at least, but I was on punk rock safety. If you want to watch it, you just go search them on YouTube. They're obviously doing amazing things. I love those folks, and I don't make any bones about that. You see me out there all the time. We pick on each other about our merch shops. I think they have like one of the slickest merch shops in the game. They're definitely making merch that doesn't suck. Now, I think the Hop Nerd podcast merch shop is right there with them. I think we're neck and neck. So definitely check out their merch shop. Check out the Hop Nerd merch shop, the hopnerd.com/shop, I believe, or just go to the website and click shop. It's super duper easy. We've got all kinds of cool designs and cool things happening over there. But I would encourage you to go check out Punk Rock Safety, the podcast, the YouTube channel. I think you can find their podcast anywhere that you find podcasts. And then check out their merch shop. They're just doing really, really cool stuff, having really, really, really interesting discussions. I think I'm episode unlucky 13. So there you go. Check that out. We talked about all kinds of really, 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 really fun stuff, mostly around making safety suck less. Yeah, I get pulled into those conversations a lot. It's funny, you write a book about safety sucking. And when I did that, the original Safety Sucks book, I thought that safety people would never talk to me again. And that wasn't my intent. I'm just like, oh, people are never going to talk to me again. And it had quite the opposite effect. I spent all of my time talking to safety professionals and folks in this world, a good chunk of it at least, about how we make safety suck less. Right? So there you go. It had quite the opposite effect. So check that out. I've got some cool podcast guests coming up over on the main pod. I've got some recordings scheduled actually this week, and I'm looking to do some more coming up over the next couple weeks. I've got some scheduled. I'd say I'm looking to, because it was schedules, right? Schedules schedules get weird, things change, it goes back and forth. I'm supposed to be on a couple, and then a couple of those have just moved and changed and moved and changed and moved and changed. And I get it. I'm not griping, friends out there that are trying to get me on your podcast. I get it. My schedule's weird. Your schedule's weird. It happens when it happens, I guess is what I'm saying. I still look forward to doing those, and I'll let you know about those when those are recorded, when those come out. But I've got a couple really, really interesting guests, some really interesting topics coming up on the main pod over the next couple of weeks. So keep an eye out. Definitely keep an eye out for those. Yeah, there we go. Oh, I forgot to tell you, because I told you over on the main show, but we added an extra episode over on the main show, a mini-sode that comes out every Sunday, which is Starting Points, where we pull out the Starting Points card deck, we shuffle it up, and we give you, I give you an operationally curious conversation starter, a better question that you can go ask throughout your work world. All that I ask is that you let me know what you learn. Either drop it in the comments, because we're posting those little video shorts of these mini episodes over on LinkedIn and on YouTube. Let me know what you learn with the question when you see those pop up. And again, we're doing them on Sunday, so you can have the whole week to go ask really interesting questions and have really fun conversations. Interesting. Jesus, I need more cold brew. Interesting conversations with those throughout your work roles, with those nearest to the work. Or if you don't want to drop it in the comments, send me an email, hopnerd@gmail.com. So let's jump into what's on the shelf. Hey, Sam, what the heck is on your shelf? Hey, Sam, what are you selling off your shelf? Here we go. I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to spin around here just a little bit. I'm going to try my best to keep my face eating this microphone, because it gets kind of weird with sound. But I've got to look, because I have a horrible memory. And so one of the things that I want to talk about today is I've got this little fire truck. I'll talk about these two things that are kind of lumped together. I've got this little fire truck that Avery bought me. So it has a very, very prestigious place on my shelf, dead center and elevated on top of stuff. Always in view. It's this little cool fire truck model that Avery bought for me, way back when. And it was a gift. She's like, my dad would like this. I'm getting this for my dad. This is cool. And she gave it to me. Many of you know this. I spent some of my earlier years in fire and EMS. She knows that. I'm very proud of those years that I spent in fire and EMS. Just before I found my way into the commercial nuclear generation space, I was in fire, EMS, and a bit of kind of emergency management kind of stuff. And she likes hearing the stories, and she sees the trucks, and she goes, "Dad, you used to drive those. You used to do that stuff." And I'm like, "Yeah, it was super duper cool." And I think one of these days, whenever I get enough time to actually do it in a volunteer way, I think I will do that one of these days if the opportunity ever presents itself again. But I'm just not there yet. I just don't have the time, as many of you know. But the next thing I want to share with you is there's it's not a little ring. It's actually a big ring that's sitting back here. And it's a company I don't think is around anymore, but it's Jewel Smokeless Coal Corporation. It's a ring. And I'm just describing it to you. It's a nice ring. It's got a nice big gemstone and a little diamond in it of some kind. It kind of looks like a class ring. It's got the company logo on it. And it's got on the other side of it, kind of engraved into it, has a coal miner, and it says Goodman right there. And then on the inside of the ring, it's got some initials, HLG, Harold Linkus Goodman. So this was my father's ring. And it means an absolute ton to me, because if I remember correctly, he was given this when he retired from the coal industry. And so I always remember him wearing this a lot as a kid. He was proud of that. And then Dad passed away back in 2008. He suddenly passed away. But it's a cool memory. It's a really, really cool memory. And I keep it with me. I can't bring myself to wear it. I put it on every now and again. I always threaten myself with it. Like, I'm going to start wearing this thing. It's important. It means a bunch to me. But I am notorious at losing things, so I can't bring myself to actually take it off the shelf and do that. It's just I'm trying to kill dead air here a little bit, because I'm looking around for my next thing, but it's true. I just can't. I cannot bring myself to even think about losing it. It would probably crush me. Yeah, it's those memory things, right? The last thing that I'll share with you today, and I don't know that I've shared it with you, but I'll share two more with you, and then I'll shut up. How about that? They're books. The first book that I want to share with you is Food to Die For by Amy. It's either Bruni or Brunny. So I don't think you're listening, Amy, but it's an excellent cookbook. It's a cookbook. I picked it up. And what's neat about this book is it's recipes and stories from America's most legendary haunted places. We love a good cookbook around here. Avery in particular, she's a very project person. She's like, let's do something cool. Give me a recipe. Give me some instructions on an experiment. Let's do an activity. And so a cookbook is a great way to do that. She's really into cooking too now, which is fun. So the last time we whipped this out, she picked a recipe, a couple of them actually, and then we went to the grocery store with the cookbook. We got the ingredients. We come back and we got together and made some cool food. And then what's really cool about this book is it's chock full of like ghost stories and paranormal stuff, if that's kind of your thing. But it's got a lot of history of like these locations where these recipes come from, which is super duper cool. It's a great cookbook. I would encourage you to check it out if you're in the market for a cookbook. And then the next one is a haunted road atlas, and it's sitting over here on my shelf under that stack of stuff where that ring and that fire truck is at, if you're kind of looking next time you see some videos. But it's a really cool book, and it is just that. It's a haunted road atlas from a podcast that I really like that's called And That's Why We Drink. It's a really cool name for a podcast. But it's two folks, they get together, and one of them usually has a paranormal story, one of them has a true crime story, and it's really neat. I got to see them do a live podcast here in Phoenix. I got to go like fan out for a second and saw that they were going to be in town. We bought some tickets. We went over there and saw them, and then that was a Christmas gift from Jarrell because he knew that I really liked this podcast. We got to meet them and talk to them about podcasting and all that kind of cool stuff. But it's a cool little haunted road atlas, and we use it a bit. We went on a little bit of a haunted adventure, at least here in Arizona, back during the pandemic, looking for things to do. You know my stance on this stuff. I'm not like a paranormal kind of ghost person. I just find the stories like to be interesting. They're just cool. Am I a believer? No, I don't think so. I don't know that I'm into all that crap, but I do enjoy the shows, and I do enjoy like seeing these places, and I like the history. Like we watch Ghost Adventures a bunch. Do you guys watch Ghost Adventures? You know, that's a really it's cheesy. It's extra cheese, right? It's cheese with an extra side of cheese. But I really love seeing like these old buildings and hearing some of the stories of the old buildings. And then of course, people's ghost stories, whether you believe in that crap or not, I just think it's fun. It's fun and interesting. So we took a bit of a ghost road trip a few years back. It was coming out of the pandemic a bit, things in Arizona. We shut down for a while, opened back up pretty quickly, and then shut down, then opened back up pretty quickly. So we were in one of those kind of opening up kind of phases where we went out and we drove down. We stayed in a couple different places. The main place we were going, we stayed at a couple places in between. We did a road trip through the state. The main place we stayed was in Bisbee, the Copper Queen Hotel, which was a lovely old hotel. So yeah, I would encourage you to go check that out. And it was an absolute fun time. I'm sitting here saying that I don't believe in ghosts and stuff falling off my shelf behind me there. So there you go. I think we end on that note. Maybe it just made me a believer because stuff are falling off of my shelf as I talk about not believing in ghosts. Holy crap. But there we go. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a part of the sideshow. Make sure you're following along here and over on the main pod. Again, we're doing new episodes every Tuesday on the HOP Nerd podcast, main episodes. And then we're doing weekly starting points every single Sunday. Make sure you sign up for the mailing list. Check out HOP and Operational Learning in Las Vegas. Check out our online learning course, the basics of HOP and Operational Learning or learning teams. Check out starting points, the book, all that kind of sort of stuff. Make sure you like, share, subscribe anywhere that you can like, share, and subscribe. And that's it. Until next time, I love you, mean it. Bye, everybody. See you on the next one. Thanks for listening in, everybody. Cruise over to the website, www.thehopnerd.com. Scroll to the bottom, click join the mailing list, and definitely do that. Follow along everywhere that you can follow along, like Instagram or the platform formerly known as Twitter. It's the HOP Nerd on Instagram, the HOP Nerd 1 on X. And make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel for brand new videos around HOP and a bunch of other stuff. LinkedIn. Make sure that you're following me on LinkedIn, Sam Goodman, and the HOP Nerd LLC and the HOP Nerd podcast page. And if you need a hand with human and organizational performance, operational learning, and everything in between, the website or just send me an email, thehopnerd@gmail.com.